flight, and the first live pictures from the spacecraft are just coming over the satellite. So straight over to Colin Riak in our Apollo studio.
So far, it's been going along on time, although there have been some minor surprises. We do know that they've begun the first major operation of the trip, in which the command and service module carrying the 3 astronauts separates from the rocket, turns around in space, and then noses back towards the lunar module, finally pulling it clear of the launching rocket. And that's what we shall be seeing now when the live pictures start coming through on the satellite. And there it all looks to be going well. One of the astronauts has just said that they can see something rather like ice balls coming out of the rocket casing in which the lunar module has been nestled to protect it from the aerodynamic heating of the launch through the Earth's atmosphere.
We can see the scribe marks on the window now on a color TV. Roger. We can see the red windowsill, the ridge around the window. Okay, we're going to move the camera now. Roger.
What we're seeing now is through the window of the command module. It's not very clear at this moment. They'll be seeing the lunar module probably still in its housing on the top of the last stage of the Saturn rocket in which they were all launched.
Distance now 6,000 miles from Earth. Velocity 21,694 feet per second. And there's the Earth.
This is a very important procedure. It gets the trip started either well or badly. They've had some practice on previous flights, of course, but it's always an anxious time still for even experienced astronauts when they're docking 2 craft. There have been some nasty experiences in the past.
We're picking up your Earth shots now. It's still moving a little bit. Roger, we'll work on it.
After the command and lunar modules have finished this operation of docking nose to nose, the astronauts will move with the lunar module on its protective sleeve, tow the lunar module out of its garage, as it were, and then stand well back while the last stage of the Saturn V launcher kicks itself clear and away into a huge looping orbit around the sun out of harm's way. The launch itself, obscured by rain and storm clouds, was as undramatic as any we've seen. But within 3 minutes of the liftoff came really dramatic news over the sound circuit. Flight Commander Pete Conrad reported a major disruption in the spacecraft's electrical system.
Okay, now we'll straighten out our problems here. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure he got hit by lightning. Your thruster's looking good, Pete. Okay, I have a good GDC, and Al has got the fuel cells back on, and we'll be working on our AC buses. Right, Pete, your fuel cells look good down here. I've reset all the fuel cells, we have all the buses back on the line, and we'll just square up the platform when we get into orbit. Roger, Pete. That sounds good. Hey, that's one of the better sims, believe me. We've had a couple of cardiac arrests down here too, Pete.
Couple of cardiac arrests on the ground with that incident, and it's pretty clear now that something electrical did strike Apollo 12. Reporters on the ground saw a flash. But the latest theory is that in the highly charged thundercloud, the rocket had built up a big static charge, which then discharged with a flash, creating an electrical surge in the equipment on board. And that gave the fuel cells and the electrical circuits enough of a jolt to disrupt the inertial guidance system that the series of gyroscopes and accelerometers, which give the spacecraft an exact sense of exactly where it is in space. And I've just heard on my ear set that they have in fact docked. Well, after that unpleasant experience this morning in the clouds over Cape Kennedy, the craft was virtually out of control for a few moments, and the 3 Navy commanders had to realign their guidance system By one of the oldest navigation methods known to mariners, they took some sextant sights on various stars. At dawn, the three astronauts, Conrad, Bean, and Gordon, were preparing for the flight. After a final medical checkup, a doctor reported that they were all in great shape and ready to go. After reading the morning papers and eating the traditional pre-launch breakfast, the astronauts left the space building to walk cheerfully out to the truck that would take them to Launch Complex 39A. Yesterday's suspense concerning the faulty hydrogen tank over, the countdown was proceeding smoothly as the astronauts stepped into the command module. At 3:05 our time, the capsule was sealed. Heavy rain and low cloud at one time had threatened to postpone the launch, which was watched by Mr. Richard Nixon, the first American president to watch a launching from Cape Kennedy. But bad weather or not, the countdown went perfectly, and at 5:22 our time, they were on their way.
9, 8, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running, commit, liftoff. We have liftoff, 11:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pete Conrad reports that your program is in. Tower clear.
A pitch and a roll program, and this baby is really going.
Pete Conrad reporting the roll and pitch program to put Apollo 12 on the proper course. Altitude at 1/2 mile. To 1.5 miles now. Velocity.
The delighted President Nixon watched as the spacecraft lifted off through the thunder and into the clouds. Spectacular, he shouted. And the president had something to say about the alleged rivalry between the scientists and engineers on the project.
We made in the future as they have been made in the past, as to the commitment of this nation to the program. And I realize that within those in the program, between scientists and engineers and others, there are different attitudes as to what the emphasis should be, whether we should emphasize more exploration or more in taking the knowledge that we have already acquired and making practical applications of it. All of these matters have been brought to my attention. I can assure you every side is getting a hearing. We want to have a balanced program, but most important, we are going forward.
Well, the space television transmission is still going on, and we'll be taking another look at it before the end of this news.
And now the rest of the news. And at Queen Charlotte's Hospital
And
in
that's
London,
it.
Mother and Quinn...
The day began for us at just after 5 o'clock this morning, when a totally successful and indeed almost enjoyable by the sound of it undocking maneuver, when the lunar module began to plunge down away from the command module. And in the first moments, nothing than a slight bump of the soft undocking.
Okay, here you go again. Back off, Dick. There he goes. I just wanted to let that damp, Pete. Okay, I got -1 and nothing, so forget it. Stand it up against it, looks good.
And they're moving slowly away from another spacecraft, one of the best shots that we've ever seen
Real good.
of the lunar module pulling away after the undocking.
Okay, Dick, yaw left, 60. And Pete, you're cutting in and out to me. Roger, go up box.
The module moving away very, very slowly against the background of the moon. The docking tunnel clearly visible in the top. And 3 of the 4 legs splayed out as we looked down on what was in a vertical position to be the top of the lunar module.
How do you read, Yankee Clipper? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How's that?
And then on the next revolution, they opened up the taps, they opened up the engine, and down they went after the descent orbit insertion. Again, a burn by the descent engine to pull them out of orbit and down towards the landing site, absolutely perfectly. And what were your comments on that, Patrick, at the time?
Well, it seems quite incredible. After all, this was perhaps, well, undoubtedly the most perfect landing that ever has been made. And I think it speaks terribly well, not only for the actual mechanism itself, but also for the men who flew it. And quite clearly, as they went down to the moon, they were completely relaxed and completely confident in a way that no one else has really been.
And then came the last few fantastically exciting moments of the landing, when Al Bean was filling his commander with information, and Pete Conrad could scarcely stop shouting with excitement.
I'm not sure. Coming through 7. With B-64, Pete. Engine over. That's it, there's LTD. Roger, copy, B-64. 1,000 update. Hey, there it is. There it is. Oh my God, right down the middle of the road. Outstanding, 42 degrees, Pete. Hey, it's started right in the center of the crater. Look out there. I can't believe it. Amazing. Fantastic. 42 degrees, Pete. Just keep right it in. 42, we're passing 3,500. Coming down at about 99 feet a second. You're looking good. Got 15% fuel. I'll reset my watch. Sure, okay. I'm going to land over 1. I just want LPD to the right level. Roger, Roger. 40 degrees, LPD, Pete. That's so fantastic, I can't believe it. You're at 2,000 feet. How far? The boys on the ground are okay. 1,800 feet up, 39 degrees. Got 94 seconds of LPD time. Okay, I want to move forward a little bit. 38 degrees, 36 degrees. You're 1,200 feet, Pete. Okay, 1,000 feet coming down at 30. Looking good. Got 14% fuel.
That's about 4 minutes of fuel left.
Good out there, Dave. Looks good. 32 degrees. You're 800 feet. 33 degrees. You're 686. 33 degrees. 600 feet. Antenna's okay. Thanks. 35.
The computer...
506. 471.
Conrad is now flying the lunar module, manually.
I got it. 400. You're 66 feet. Thanks. 66. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get over here. 330 feet coming down at 4. Got 11%. Just loads the gas. 300 feet coming down at 5. That's that crater right where it's supposed to be. It's just beautiful. 10%. 257 feet coming down at 5. 240 coming down at 5.
Mission control there, watching with us.
Maneuvering around. Come on down, dude. Okay. 10% fuel. 200 feet coming down at 3. Come on down. Okay. 190 feet. Come on down. 180 feet. 9%. You're looking good. Let's get some dust before long. 130 feet. 124 feet, Pete. 120 feet coming down at 6. Got 9%. 8%. You're looking okay. 96 feet coming down at 6. Slow down the descent rate. 80 feet coming down at 4. You're looking good. 70 feet. Looking real good. 63 feet. 60 feet coming down at 3. 50 feet coming down. Watch for the dust. 46. Low level. 42 feet coming down at 3. Coming down at 2. Okay. Start the clock. 42 feet coming down at 3. 40 coming down at 2. Looking good. Watch the dust. 31, 32, 30 feet. Coming down at 2 feet. You get plenty of gas. Plenty of gas, dude. Hang in there. 30 seconds. 15 feet. Coming down at 2. He's got it made. Come on in there. 24 feet. Contact light. Roger. Copy contact. Trot. Pro. Yeah, pro. Okay. Inform off. Okay. That's actually valve. You got your finish command override off. Yep. Okay. That's the
And in a flying cloud of dust, Intrepid was down after an incredibly perfect landing that ended them up with no less than 1.5 minutes spare fuel. And on a mission like that, that's a great deal of fuel. Engineering, from an engineering point of view, Jeffrey.
Well, it was indeed an even more perfect demonstration, of course, than Apollo 11, because on this particular occasion, it was expected that Conrad would take over at 500 feet. He brought it down, he cut the engines about 5 or 6 feet off the ground, which is what the spacecraft is designed to do. It fell properly the last few feet. And on inspection subsequently, the mechanism for taking the shock had hardly been used to its full extent at all, and the whole thing is absolutely in first-class shape.
There in mission control, before the pictures actually came on, as Pete Conrad went out onto the porch and activated the television camera.
Here we go.
And he's reading off his checklist to say to himself what I got to do. Reaching for the handle, which will deploy the laser. The picture should come up straight away. Mesa down.
TV starting to come in.
Hey, I'll tell you what we're parked next to. We're about 25 feet in front of the surveyor. Crazy. Good. I wanted to be.
There it is, the shadow of the lunar module on the surface.
I think you want to take this with you, Pete. Sounds good, Pete, just like you wanted. Just swing around here. That's right. Okay, now hold it there just a second, Pete, okay? 1 second.
Pete Conrad ought to be appearing somewhere in that rather hazy area of 2 dark lines that go up out of the white area towards the top of the
Roger,
picture.
we've got a TV.
Behind the strut.
Here he comes.
There he is. There he is. There's Conrad.
And is that a good looking sight, then, Will? You're coming into the picture now, Pete.
You can just see his backpack sticking out there. This is his leg, body, up here.
Okay, got your camera running. Okay. Down to the bed. Okay. Man, that may have been a small one for Neil, but that's a long one for me.
A small one for Neil, but a long one for me.
That's rotten. Hey, that's deep. I don't think you're too far. I'll try a little. Boy, that sun's bright. That's just like somebody shining a spotlight in your hand.
He's gone off the footpad really quickly, Kurt. Did you see that? As he was saying, he wouldn't follow the rules. Yeah.
Skip the last step.
I mean, he did not go through the procedure of standing and putting his foot down carefully. He just leapt straight onto the side. There's his shadow there. There he is coming in.
Now, but I gotta take it easy and watch what I'm doing. Boy, you'll never believe it. That's what I see sitting on the side of the crater. Old surveyor, old surveyor, just there. But that must be, it can't be any further than 600 feet from here. How about that? Well planned, Chief. A little chore to do here, right? Say again? I say that was well planned, Pete. Yeah, just a couple of months with a lot of people. Let's see, deploy the LEC and the Mesa, that's done. I'm looking at my mobility, PG shift. I have the decided impression I don't want to move too rapidly. But I can walk quite well.
See his shadow moving away there.
He is sitting on the side of a steep slope, I'll tell you that. Okay, I'll work on my contingency sample.
Collecting a contingency sample. After coming up with words somewhat different from the words that Neil Armstrong uttered when he put his foot down.
Not yet. And we can back to the window for
A small one for Neil, but a long one for me. But then he jumped all the way down.
couple of TV camera.
That movement there is simply Pete Conrad picking up the camera.
Alright. Well. Alright. I got the stuff I'm doing. Let me come over here and get it. Here I come. Okay. I feel like Bugs Bunny.
Away we go.
He's now moved the camera while picking it up, so that's the horizon, and this way is up. Pete Conrad is out of the surface, it's been out for almost half an hour, and there comes the feet of Albion.